I've had about all I can take, so it's time to say something. This is a piece called If One Is Too Many, Then What Is Enough? Mr. Presidents, Bushes and Obama and Congress, I figure since you are and were the commanders-in-chief and the government body responsible for declarations of war, though we call them operations and conflicts these days to make them more tidy, they're still war to those who fight and have fought them. And I don't have a chain of command anymore, so I'll come right out and say what I'm sure many Americans are thinking. Since y'all are the nation's biggest welfare recipients who are elected by the people and supposedly answer to the people, here's my question. I've heard the president say when talking about combat losses, the loss of a soldier was one too many. As a former military leader and veteran, I'm accustomed to that saying. However, I do not believe that the saying means the same thing to the presidents and Congress as it does to the soldiers and veterans. When you say that the loss of a soldier was one too many, then what was enough? Which death was one too many, the first one or the last one? As a former military leader, the death of a soldier was one too many, and no matter what else we did after that death, we considered ourselves as failures. We worked up close and personal level with the fine young men and women, and we were a family. When soldiers are lost at a personal and unit level, you live with it for the rest of your life, and you carry the guilt that comes with not being able to return them home safely to their loved ones. You may not realize this, but many of us are damaged far more than any bullet could ever do. Our wounds are internal, and they often go overlooked. We have lost over 125,000 additional soldiers and veterans to suicide since 1991, and a lot more to unexplained illnesses and rare cancers, and what is identified as Gulf War illness. These days, the Veterans Administration is overtaxed and failing our veterans epically. The fight to get help from the Veterans Administration is a nightmare for many. There are veterans from Desert Shield and Storm who are getting lost in the shuffle and priorities given to the post-9/11 veterans. There's no animosity meant toward those veterans. I'm just stating observations. And they're even failing those veterans. The level of care provided by the Veterans Administration is abysmal. It's lacking and it's sporadic at best across the nation. Some hospitals are great, but a great number are falling short of our expectations. Veteran homelessness and suicide is at all-time high, and it directly reflects the failure of the United States government when it pertains to those who have given the most for their nation. Psych care is terrible. It's a hit and miss with all kinds of medicines being pushed. A great number of these medicines lead to suicidal ideation, and others make folks go postal, but mostly they lead to suicide. The doctors are burnt out, and they often don't care when a veteran tells them what's going on with the medicines. There are doctors who blow the veterans off when they tell them they're in psych peril. This is from my personal experience of my own suicide attempt. The veterans deserve better than this. On a daily basis, 22 veterans commit suicide, and that is unacceptable. Of those 22, there are 5 per day who commit suicide while in the hospital. That's over 20%. That's unacceptable. I've watched my nation's leaders get us into unwinnable wars since Vietnam, and they've gotten us into wars that lasted longer than Vietnam. I've watched the government fail its veterans for too long, and I'm saying that enough is enough. You owe us better. As a former military leader and a veteran, I know my personal answer to the question that was posed. The first fallen soldier was one too many and was far more than enough. So I ask you again, Mr. Presidents and Congress, if one is too many, then what is enough? When are you going to provide us the level of care that we deserve? Our lives depend on you answering this question correctly. If you can't afford to take care of veterans after the wars, then don't send us to war.